I was a first-time mother. I had no idea how to do this mothering thing. And of course, is on-the-job training. And one of the things that happened for Liz is she was called, the doctor said, a fussy baby. She was not a colicky baby. She was just a really fussy baby. And that was really hard for this new mother to get her head wrapped around. You see, she wanted to be held all the time, and she cried non-stop. So what started to happen was I started to gauge my day by how much my daughter cried. If she cried a lot, then I probably wasn't a very good mother that day. If she didn't cry a lot, well, obviously I must have done something right. And I would look back over the day saying, what did you do right so that you could do it again so that she would not cry? So, in other words, what I ended up doing was giving the power of my self-esteem over to an infant who was just trying to figure out who they were. Fast forward to 25 years later. And I'm over at the JB. I'm doing my chaplaincy, which was required to become a minister. And I'm with a group of other chaplains. And one of the things that we work through is what are some of the issues for you that have come up through your family of origin, both good and not so good, that you live into? What are those voices you are listening to? And so it could be that the family wanted you to become a certain thing or take on family business. Or it could be something like alcoholism. Or it could be something like you can't travel, you have to become a doctor, you have to become a lawyer, you have to do, you have to do, you have to do. And it could be generations back that finally come down and you don't even know where that started. Well, I realized right then and there, wait, 25 years ago, I let this infant determine what kind of mother I thought I was by her crying. I was like, oh, this is great. This new revelation, I can finally get beyond it. And I started realizing, was I doing that in my life other ways? Oh my gosh, this was huge for me. I thought, this is great. I can finally get beyond that. And then 2 years later, it would come back to smack me in the face. You see, a couple of years later, I had a young man who, about 10 years old, and it was a family that I was working with. It was an abuse situation. I had gone to court with them, and he was having a really bad day. And his mom called me, and she said, I can't get him to stop crying. He's just having this really hard day. Is there any way you could talk with him? Of course, I'm going to say I would be more than happy to talk with him. I don't know what I would say, but sure, have him come over and we'll have a conversation. So as he gets out of the car, we're in the parking lot, and his face is red, and his eyes are swollen because he's been crying all day. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do with this poor boy. And so he comes up here, and he sits down in my office, and his mom sits in the hallway, and he gives us a little bit of room. And he is crying profusely. Those tears are just coming out, and I thought, wow, what could have happened to this poor boy that he was so caught up in his terror? And then I said to myself, I have got to get this young man to stop crying. I have got to get this young man to stop crying, or I am not a very good pastor. And all of a sudden, my clinicals from 2 years earlier smacked me in the head and said, really? You're going to take your issue and you're going to project it onto this young man? And I thought, oh my gosh, that is exactly what I was going to do. Because I didn't think I was good enough if I couldn't get him to stop crying. I was like, oh my gosh. So I took that and I put it aside and said, I'll do it with you later. And I got up and I went to my closet and I got out a box of Kleenex. There was already one on the table. And I put it next to it, and I said to him, I got 3 more in my closet. When you're ready to talk, you let me know. And I sat there, and I began to pray. I prayed, all right, Lord, it is not about me. It is not about what happened with my daughter 20-some fix him, but you can. And you can use me as an instrument. So use me to get to this young man. Now, I can't tell you what I said because I frankly don't remember. But I know that 2 hours later, well, actually about 10 minutes later, the boy started talking. And 2 hours later, we were in the parking lot and he's cracking a joke, and him and his mom get in the car and they drive away, and I stood there and thought, what just happened? I got out of the way. I didn't listen to that voice that I had created 25 years ago. Instead, I chose to listen to God. So who are we listening to? Are we listening to people who have our best interest in mind? Are there still stories that you're listening to that from childhood that you're still living into? In our scripture reading this morning, Pilate has Jesus in front of him. He's on trial. He's there on trial and he says, "So, are you the king?" And Jesus says, "You say that I am king." You see, having a kingdom meant land. It meant armies. And it meant power. And you can just see what's going on in Pilate's head. You know, are you challenging this king? I mean, look at you. You don't look like a king. And Jesus says that my kingdom is beyond anything you can imagine. It's beyond this world. Land? I got universes. Armies? I don't need armies to hold people down. I need to lift them up. Power? I got the power of love, which beats all of your power. You can just see that challenging with Jesus. Oh, a king? I'm going to turn that title around. That's not the kind of king Jesus came. You see, Pilate wanted Jesus to identify himself as the king so he could set him up to be crucified. He needed something, and yet Pilate knew this man was innocent. This man had done nothing wrong. But did Pilate listen to that voice, that inner voice? No. He listened to what the crowd was saying. And so, Jesus is put on trial. And where are the disciples? Nowhere to be found. Why? Because they're scared. And he's beaten. Where are the disciples? Nowhere. Because they're scared. And he is nailed to a cross and he is crucified. And only John is there at the base of the cross. And in that moment of crucifixion, what does Jesus have the audacity to do? But to ask for forgiveness. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Instead of asking for justice like a king would do. Justice. So here we are on this last Sunday of the Christian calendar, our New Year's Eve, like I said to the kids. Next week we begin Advent as we head toward Christmas. So who are you listening to? Whose voice is resounding in your head? Maybe that you are conscious of, or maybe that you are not conscious of. For me, it took 25 years to realize that voice was still prevalent. How about you? Now, I have a favorite author, and his name is Parker Palmer. I don't know if any of you have heard of him. And he talks about how in your life that we need to live our life not to achieve something monetarily, not to achieve something powerfully, not to win in any game, but to be authentic. So in his book, Speak Your Life's Truth, he has 2 quotes that I want to share with you. And I'm also a visual learner, so we're going to throw it up here. So the first quote is, Before you tell your life what you intend to do with it, listen to what God intends to do with you. How many times have you made plans and said, this is what I'm going to do because I need to do this financially. I need to become a nurse so that I can take care of people, but I really don't like sick people. Or I need to become an engineer because my father was an engineer and his father, and if I don't do it, I'm going to disappoint them. But that's not what I feel called to do. We have conflicting voices all the time. And then the next one. Before you tell your life what truths and values you decide to live by, listen to what God tells you what truths you embody and what values you represent. How many times have you been with a group of people who are doing one thing and it just doesn't feel that that's what you want to be doing? Or how many times have you been with a group and you said, if one person would stand up and say something, I'll follow along, but I just don't want to be the first one to do it. How many times have you been the person that needs to stand up for somebody who can't? What if you can't listen to what God is asking you to do with your life? Because there are roadblocks in front of you that you have no control over, no power, if you will. And you rely on other people's power to take those roadblocks away. So who are you listening to? Are you allowing Jesus to listen to God, to live inside of you? And let the Holy Spirit enable you to hear what God is calling you to be in your life. At every stage of your life. Whether you're 10 or 19 or 20 or 30 or 70 or 90. What is God asking you to do with your life? And it may not be something grandiose. It may just be being kind to your neighbor who has nobody else. Writing that card that you think is not going to make a difference, and yet that person who sits alone on Thanksgiving receives it and says, this has made a difference in my life. So we listen. We either listen to God, who lives within us and invites us to empower that Holy Spirit to make a difference in the world, one person at a time. Or we choose to listen to the outside shadow, the people who are trying to get you to do something that they want you to do, irregardless of how it meets your needs. So again, I